Who can forget that ad? The iconic ad.
Iconic.
Right?
Iconic.
That was like the game changer, Peter.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Everybody, those people who were there then and are here now, they remember that Nikona.
They remember. With ads in corporate life, we say when you hear kids actually singing the ad,
yes,
and without knowing which brand it is, you know it's an iconic brand, an iconic ad.
Yeah. 24 years, Peter. 24 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that easy in the beginning, right?
No,
it was a tough journey.
It was.
People think that Safaricom just showed up one day and became this giant, company. It wasn't like that always.
It wasn't, and actually that's why, Jeff, it's always good to go back and actually celebrate those who have been with us, the journey that we have undertaken with our customers. And today, I'm sure we'll talk about what we were rewarding customers today, surprising them and so on. But when I speak to the founders, including people like Michael Joseph, and they tell me the story, the beginning of Safaricom, setting up a new business is not easy. You remember the congestions on Fridays?
Oh, my goodness.
You remember Michael Joseph saying about Kenyan habits, peculiar habits? Yes. He still laughs when we remind him about that.
Yes.
But actually, the serious part of it is that the success of Safaricom, at the beginning, of course, it started from humble beginning, was a department of Telkom Kenya. Many people forget that. In 2000, then Safaricom was formed on the 23rd of October, 2000. Today. So 24 years today, Safaricom was formed. And then within a year, Safaricom had 1 million customers. So the network, they had to make sure that they fast-track the investment so that it keeps up with the demand that was coming through. That's why there was quite a bit of congestion. You also remember, if I take you back to when devices, so in the late 90s, were costing 250,000.
For that brick.
The big one, the one that people used to put on cars.
Correct.
And it was only available for those who can afford, of course. And then even as we came into now mobile networks were licensed, Safaricom, I think that time Kencell, and so on. The phones were still more than 10,000 shillings at the time. Getting a line was 2,500. That's more than $20.
Correct.
Yeah, today is you buy it for 50 shillings.
You can buy
a SIM card for 20 shillings. And then topping up was 1,000 shillings or 500 shillings. So even when Safaricom launched the Baba 20, that was a breakthrough. Yeah, even 50 was a breakthrough.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey of innovation, of inclusion, digital inclusion. And then we'll come to M-Pesa came in on 2007 and so on.
Yes.
But at the beginning, it wasn't easy.
No.
In fact, Michael tells me that initially we got quite a lot of funding from the vendors, from people like companies like Siemens, so to allow us to actually build the network. And the most important is Kenyans stuck with Safaricom.
Why is that, Peter? And we always wonder, what was the magic that kept Kenyans in touch? I mean, they were loyal.
They were very loyal.
Network.
And actually, if you think about at the beginning, the intention was to create a company that was always going to go beyond making money. And we hear stories about Safaricom went to support schools and hospitals before they got the network into those places, in places like Turkana and so on and so forth. So the communities knew about the brand before they got the network, before they bought the phones, before they bought the SIM card. And we have kept that belief, and that's why we always focus on our purpose of transforming lives. So today we have been speaking about 24 years of transforming lives, of driving digital inclusion, especially through connectivity, and we'll talk about the periods that we've done, of using our foundation. Initially, we set up Safaricom Foundation in 2003, which was, M-Pesa Foundation was set up much later when M-Pesa came through, but Safaricom Foundation was set up when the company was not making much money. It was about supporting communities with small amounts. A year even you could buy a cow for a community to actually create empowerment. So we identified health as a big area, a social need, education as another area, and economic empowerment. So empowering communities has always been the cornerstone of how Safaricom has operated. And it is not just through the foundation, but the way we look at it in three ways. We say three things we do. One is we support the most important passion points that Kenyans have. Sports, Chapadimba and so on. Sports, we've spent 2 billion Kenya shillings since we were started. So 24 years, in 24 years, we spent 2 billion. So that's a massive amount. If you imagine, the company grew over time, did not start making money. The second is going into supporting community through the foundations. And then the third one is focusing on the business. Our main role in society is to keep the country connected. Whether that is through connectivity on voice, on data, accessing the internet, or actually later on when we set up M-Pesa, keep the country connected in the context of payment. So those are the three ways. So even in keeping the country connected, we don't want to leave anyone behind. So it has always been transforming lives through supporting Kenyan passion points, through our foundation work in community, and then really focusing on being there for everyone, connecting people to opportunity, and empowering business. Yeah,
I've had the opportunity to speak to all three CEOs of your company. Michael Joseph, who was 1.0, the late Bob Collymore, he called it 2.0.
Yes.
And you, 3.0. Has it been tough filling those shoes? How has it been?
I need to remind you, Jeff, when I got into this role in 2020, just at the start of COVID. In April 2020, I did an interview. It was over the line.
Correct.
Because you couldn't visit me, so I think you sent a cameraman. He was very far from us. And so I had to speak to you, and I think you asked the same question. And I always say, organizations are about errors. So Michael Joseph was about starting this company, building the network, getting the country connected, setting the DNA of how the company was to operate, including connection with community, and then starting the M-Pesa in 2007. But by the time Michael Joseph left, M-Pesa was not as successful. Bob came in, and actually the late Bob came in, really accelerated the rollout of 3G. Remember that we used to have just voice and SMS?
Correct.
Then you got 3G. 3G is still a voice network. And you have a bit of data, but it's cranky. And then eventually we started 4G. So really accelerated that and continued to deepen that connectivity, but also then pushed the boundaries around M-Pesa being much bigger part of society in terms of going beyond payments. We introduced loans. Eventually we introduced brands like Fuliza. And then now coming into the digital age, where you have big data, AI, 5G, which is the era that are coming. And we have reframed the vision of Safaricom from being just a telecommunication organization, providing connectivity and a payment platform, to now being a purpose-led technology company. In fact, now we have a vision that says Africa's leading purpose-led technology company, providing solutions that actually leverage the connectivity layer and the payment layer to provide solutions to individuals, to empower them, to businesses, and also to everyone to live a better life. And that's one of the reasons why we are involved in supporting both private and public sector in providing solutions that support society. And so my era is about creating or building on the infrastructure that has been created to provide solutions for individuals and also for enterprise, empowering business. And
also expanding beyond Kenya.
Yeah, of course.
Which is very important.
Yes, which is very important. So in 2021, just in the middle of COVID, we bid for the license in Ethiopia. We led the consortium, a global consortium comprising Sumitomo, BII of the UK, and also Vodacom, and we are the majority shareholder. Safaricom, which is a Kenyan company leading a consortium of global investors. And now IFC has also joined us. So a very credible consortium that is expanding, and hopefully we support the digitization of Ethiopia. We are making huge progress. We on the network side, we've already created a network that's about half of what Kenya has today.
In how many years?
In 2.5 years.
Ooh.
So what has taken us 24 years
Yeah.
to create about just over 6,000 sites. We are just going beyond 3,000 sites in Ethiopia, all 4G and 5G ready, because you're having the latest technology being installed. In a new country.
In a population of 100+ million.
Yeah, it's second largest country in Africa.
Oh.
Really allowing us to showcase and actually leverage what we've learned in Kenya to expand beyond our boundaries, and actually showcase Safaricom as a credible international and an African giant.
Absolutely. See you. I want to talk more about that after the break, and also I want to talk about June 25th.
Yes.
The Gen Z demonstrations. There was talk about Safaricom shutting down the network, and what was involved there. I know you want to talk about that. It's very important we clear that. And also she or Sha or Shif or what's it called? 104 billion. Guy.
I hope you won't have to use in
It's on standby. It's on standby.
I hope none of my comments will allow you to use extinguisher.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
And also your comments, folks. We've got the CEO of Safaricom right now. This is your chance to ask your questions, your comments. What are your thoughts? 24 years later, folks. That's a quarter of a century. My goodness. Time flies when you're having fun. Keep those tweets coming at Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is JKLive. JK Live takes a break. We'll be back. A little more news, a bit of business, a bit of sports, and back with the CEO. Jeff Koinange takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.